Well, it has been about a week since we've done a weather check from this location, and look at all of the green, well, brown grass. What a difference a week makes. And it's been surprisingly cool for the amount of snow that has melted. We had a ton of it, but we also got some rain. We got some weather in the 40s, in the 30s. That's about where it is right now. But it hasn't been all that warm. You'd think we would have had a couple of 80-degree days in there with all the snow that has gone away. But it is nice to see some brown grass. Well, hello there, and welcome to Thursday, and another beautiful day for some type of adventure here on Tommy Travels the Second. As you can see, the snow is very much lower than it used to be. This mountain behind me is more of just a bump now these days. And so I'm not sure what we're gonna all do here. I just have to get to work. It's one of those go to work kind of days like I had on Tuesday, and we'll just see what happens. So if you are brand new to this channel, go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on a thing. And this should be fun, you guys, so come on with me. Let's go see what there is to see. And right away we have some geese on the roof here. I don't know what their problem is, but they're looking at something over here, and they don't like it. What's going on, guys? And here's a look at that deck that I showed last week that was filled all the way up to the top with snow. And my gosh, I think it's almost as fun watching how fast the snow can melt as it is watching how fast it accumulates. And that place has lost a lot of snow. That guy can actually see out his window nowadays. It must be nice. Just in case you happen to have a car for sale, this place, Inver Grove Toyota Scion, they buy cars. They probably especially like Toyotas and Scions. And look at that. I hit the green light. That's always a good sign. And we are off work and on our way home, or at least to the gas station first of all. Hello, sunshine. And did you ever have one of those days where you just didn't feel like going in? Like for me, I was like, I would rather just go out on an adventure today and have some fun and create some content for YouTube. I don't want to go in. But then I went in. This road is full of potholes, so that's why the camera is shaking. But then I went in and I had a great, very productive day. I was thinking like, boy, am I glad that I went in there today, because that was a very good day that I had at work. So I'm in a very good mood right now. So is there some kind of a new law going on right now where if I go to the gas station, even if it's just for one item, I have to get stuck behind the 20-minute lottery ticket guy? That seems to be happening to me every single time. I just want one quick thing. I want to get in and out. It's really an issue, especially if I'm in a hurry, which I usually am. I've always got someplace to go. And I've got to get stuck behind the guy that's like, first of all, can you see if these are worth anything? And they hand him 5 or 6 tickets. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, this one's worth $10. Okay, give me $1, and then I'll have 4 lucky cherries, 3 wild 7s, and 2 horseshoes. Lottery tickets always have to be named stuff like that, or people won't buy them. like bingo bango, stuff like that. But I think they should have to be named what happens if you play the lottery too much, like the guy I always get stuck behind. It's not one guy. It's always somebody, though, that's doing it. And I would almost be okay with watching them sit there and play that if they had to call the tickets what actually happens if you play the lottery too much. I would get a little smile out of that if I had to watch people say things like, okay, yeah, give me 3 can't afford to eat, behind on rent, give me four behind on rent and 2 repossessions. Yeah, that'll be good. Those repossessions have been really lucky for me lately. And don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against anybody who enjoys playing the lottery. That's not really the point. I just kind of wish that gas stations would have a separate line or something like that for people who choose to play it. Because it can be kind of frustrating for customers who just want to get in and out of there with 1 or 2 items and go about their day. Instead of watching somebody, what's this one worth? Is this anything? Okay. Let's do this whole 20-minute transaction now. Sit back and relax there, buddy. But I've even been known to play the lottery a few times in my life as well. So I don't do the scratch-offs or anything like that. I just think that's kind of a dangerous game to get into, because once you start getting into that cycle, you win a few of them, and then you think, hey, I can win money, and then all of a sudden you're trying to win back money that you've lost, which is what the majority of people wind up doing. So I stay away from that altogether. And even the Powerballs or Mega Millions, I don't even know which one it is that I play, but when it gets up to over $1 billion, whichever one that one is, that one I'll play. And I have a rule about that, is I won't play it unless it's over $1 billion. And then I'll spend a few bucks and put some money towards it. It's when I really have the worst odds of winning, because there's the most people in the country playing it at that time. I realize that. But the odds aren't any better, really, statistically, if the lottery is 500 million versus $1 billion. It's the chances are so astronomically small that I would win regardless. It still doesn't make sense. But if it's over $1 billion, you got a chance to win $1 billion. I'll put a few fun bucks towards it and, go about my business. And it is fun to dream about what you would do if you won, if you happen to be that lucky person. But I know I won't be. I was in the office last week, and they had a drawing for some random prizes that they were giving away to people, and there's about 30 people or so in the room, and they drew about 10 tickets, and guess what? I didn't win one of them in a room of 30 people that I could see. They drew 10 tickets, and I didn't win. And so that's just what gets me, is stuff like that. And then people think, oh, well, if I put my money into this lottery and compete against everyone in the United States, I have a chance. No, you don't. But it's fun to dream, I think. That's probably the most fun about buying a lottery ticket, is what would you do if you won the money? And so that's actually a good question. If you were to win $1 billion lottery, what would you do with that money? So many things to dream about doing, First of all, it'd be like, I'm quitting my job right now, ASAP. And then I'm going to go on a spending spree. I'm going to get a new truck or car. I'm going to go get a new house. I'm going to maybe buy my parents a house. And there's a lot of things that people say they're going to do immediately when they win the lottery. And I totally understand all of that. And so that's what I want to find out in the comments from you. What would you do? Would you go on a big trip around the world? Would you find some friends who are struggling financially and help them out? Would you give a lot of it to charity? There's so many things you could do with that money. And leave that in the comments below. And then also, let me know if you would take the lump sum payout or if you would do the monthly annuity for the rest of your life payout. I don't think I remember anybody not taking the lump sum. Pretty much anybody who wins the lottery says, that's my money, give it over. So if it were me, I think I would take the lump sum payment just like everybody else. And it's pretty much for the same reason. That is my money, hand it over. And I'll figure it out. Now, there are finance guys that you can talk to that might tell you that there are tax implications and financial advantages to just taking the monthly payout every month. And that's probably true. I know that when you take the lump sum payment, you get a big, huge hit on taxes. A lot of that is gone right off the top. And really, what I think, though, is that it's more money than you can ever spend in a lifetime anyway if you won $1 billion lottery. So you wind up with $500 million in your investments or wherever you're going to put that money. I think you're going to do okay, regardless of the tax implications and you could have made a little bit more doing it the other way. I'm cool with the lump sum. And so what would I do if I won the $1 billion in the lottery? I'd probably faint right off the bat. First of all, I cannot believe that would ever actually happen. But if it did, we are dreaming, right? I think I would be smart about it. I would make a slow transition from being where I'm at right now into a person who is a wealthy person. Because if you make rash decisions and think, oh, I'm rich, and start playing like a rich person, you're going to lose a lot of money. And you're going to lose a lot of money quick. And the last thing I want to do is be one of those heartbreaking lottery stories where the person won all this money and then they were broke 5 years later because they made a bunch of asinine decisions about what to do with their money. A lot of people come to them and say, oh, you won the lottery, why don't you give me this? And, okay, here you go. They're just handing out money all over the place and then living like they're the Queen of England or something like that. It's not, even with $1 billion, there's rules about the way you spend money as a rich person. And you have to learn those before you start going crazy with money. And so the first thing that I would do is get on the phone with some financial advisors, lawyers, accountants, whatever team it is that I need to assemble to figure out what the best thing is to do with the money as far as investing it. Because I would not touch a dime of that money until I had some sort of a plan set up. For once I get that check, I'm going to give it to this person and they're going to disseminate it all into a certain gadget that's going to pay me money. And I'm not going to have access to all of the lump sum of the $500 million or whatever I wind up with after taxes. I'm going to have access to interest off of that money, and really only a portion of the interest off that money. That's still going to be probably more money than I ever dreamed of making in a year anyway. And there'll be a lot of good things that I'll be able to do with that money. And the money will be growing on the heavy side that's invested. So my money that comes out to me will also continue to grow. So I'll always be in a situation where I've got access to money coming in and the amount will grow every year. So I would set up a whole contraption like that before I got too excited about going on a spending spree. I live in a little apartment right now. I would probably stay in the little apartment for a while until I got to a point where I had some liquidity set up with some money there in the bank that I could go, okay, it makes sense to upgrade my living situation now. And then I would do that. And as far as like, hey, I would buy a $20 million house. I don't need a $20 million house. I'm one person. I would buy a nicer place than what I live in right now. Probably something where I don't have to do a lot of maintenance and things like that. Maybe like a detached townhome, but a very nice one. And set myself up with a car and a truck or a couple cars, whatever I want to do. And then just, get the lifestyle set up a little bit. That'll cost some money up front, but then after that, really, it's just, do I go on vacation? What do I do with my time? I would do maybe Tommy Travels full time then, of course, in that situation, because I could do anything I wanted. And also Tommy Travels the second. Can't forget about this channel. I would still do both channels. That would keep me very busy and my mind occupied. And then as I started to accumulate more and more money, then I would look for other areas where I've got money to burn, where I could say, hey, this person needs some help, I'm putting some money there. This charity needs some help, I'm putting some money there. And I'll know full well in advance that I can put that money there, and it's not going to change my lifestyle one bit. The other thing that I wouldn't do is come up with some wild way to quit my job right off the bat. And the reason I say that is because that's one of the big things that people say. If I won the lottery, I would be out of here so quick, and I would do this and that and all these terrible things that they would do on their very last day of work that they always secretly wanted to do in their head. And, and I wouldn't do any of those things because you know why? That place gave me employment. They gave me the money that I am making, now to get through. And just because you win the lottery, that doesn't mean that you just treat the people that have been supporting you and the company that has provided you with opportunity like crap all of a sudden. It doesn't give you an excuse to do that. And so I would figure out, what the time frame is that I would have access to funds coming in and give an appropriate notice, and then I would be out and go about my life from there. But I would not burn the bridge just because, I think if a company provides you with an opportunity, you should show them respect in return when it's time to leave. And so once I'm done with all of the boring stuff, like hiring accountants and lawyers and putting in an appropriate notice at my work, then what would I do? Well, that's where the fun comes in, That's where you can do anything that you want in your life. And I think I would do some traveling around the world. I would go to Australia and Hawaii. I would go into tropical locations, and I would make some fun adventures for Tommy Travels and Tommy Travels the second. And boy, would that be just a blast. I travel around locally when I can while still working full time. And, I see a lot of interesting things here. But imagine if the whole world was my playground. I think that would be completely wonderful. I would also give some money away, too. I just won $1 billion in a lottery. I've got 500 million plus sitting in accounts somewhere, and I've got money coming in every month, more than I can actually spend just on myself. So I would be generous as well and help some friends and family members around me who may need a financial boost. I would also give money to charities, but not just to some big corporate charity where you have no idea where your money is going. I think I would do things to help the local community, like the homeless, maybe build a homeless shelter or something where I could see the benefits of it. Where, hey, I did this, and then I can see these people using that and benefiting from it. That's why I say like homeless shelter or maybe a rec center for youths, or do some baseball playgrounds and things like that for kids. Or there's a ton of things that you could do if you had funds like that. And I would look for some opportunities to put some money to help out some charities and some people in the local community, and make sure that the people around me get to benefit from the winnings as well. Because giving makes you feel better than getting, I think. Well, you guys, I didn't know how this day was going to end up when we started. I had no idea what was going to happen, but it turned into a pretty interesting conversation. And that's always fun, too. At least for me, it is. And if you liked what you saw here today on Tommy Travels the second, go ahead and hit like on my YouTube channel. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit subscribe and the little bell notification next to it so you can be the first to know when a new adventure comes out. And thank you guys so much for the support that you've given me so far. And until next time, I hope to catch you on the flip side.